Since many have spoken about Sir Creek, I'm just bringing that also aspect and then we'll elaborate a little more and understand the broader picture, viewers. The Defence Minister or Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh issuing the stern warning to Pakistan, saying any misadventure in the Sir Creek or SIR Creek sector would invite a decisive response that could alter both history and geography of the area. Rajnath Singh criticizing Pakistan's continued disputes over the region despite Bharat's efforts to resolve them through dialogue. He pointed out Pakistan's recent military expansion in the area, and Manoj Kumar Gupta getting us these details. As many as 4 more battalions have been added by the Pakistanis in that region, and reminding of Bharat's past military actions, saying the road to Karachi passes through Sir Creek. Meanwhile, intelligence sources reveal that Pakistan is rapidly building up military infrastructure near this region, including airstrips, naval units and enhanced battalion strength. With assistance from China, the Bolari Air Base and the new naval patrols signal Pakistan's growing defensive posture, escalating tensions in this region. But first, let's listen into the Raksha Mantri.
भारत ने कई बार बातचीत के रास्ते इसका समाधान करने का प्रयास किया है। जिस तरह से हाल में पाकिस्तान की फौज ने सर क्रीक के सटे इलाकों में अपना मिलिट्री इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बढ़ाया है, वह उसकी नीयत बताता है। और 1965 की जंग में भारत की सेना ने लाहौर तक पहुंचने का सामर्थ्य भी दिखाया। 2025 में पाकिस्तान को याद रखना चाहिए कि कराची का एक रास्ता क्रीक से ही होकर गुजरता है।
These are strong words. He does not say things off the cuff. All his words have a certain level of impound and meaning. 1965, if my memory serves me right, that war was triggered because of Pakistan's misadventures in this region. So there's been a constant tussle. But how would you read all that's happened in less than 24 hours? From the Raksha Mantri to the Air Chief Marshal and then the Army Chief, Group Captain Vinod.
Thank you, Anand. Couple of points quickly. Firstly, I was in active flying, and mostly along the western border. And I don't remember a month or a quarter in which we have not had some kind of escalation against Pakistan. So we have always been at something called the operational readiness platform all across the border. So with Pakistan, it is only, the tensions are anywhere between 75 to maybe 100. Falling back never below 75. So if I were to give some number, that always has been the case. So something happening with Pakistan and de-escalating, or them building up something happening in Quetta, or something happening in in the North Waziristan or wherever. So that has always been on the cards. So second and most important aspect that you covered is about the delineation of Sir Creek and us, and from their side, not building up any kind of tensions along that border, except for Atlantic being shot down and it falling there, and I was there at that time. We've not seen much of action there. There was one boat which was of the Special Actions Group or Special Action Forces of Pakistan that was found abandoned. That happened, I remember very clearly, but nothing much in the last 3 decades, Anand, that I remember where we have gone into some kind of a skirmish in that area. There, build up there is something that is not acceptable to us, because from our side, we have not built up anything. In fact,
clearly the PLA are involved. The Chinese are asking them.
And we don't have army there. In fact, the BSF on Camelback is there. There is no army there at all. So from our side, we have not escalated in that region. And there is no reason for us to escalate in that region either. But like ma'am said, the biggest threat that has ever been given, I think, in the independent India has been by what Army Chief said. You will remain on the map or not will depend on your future actions. Such strong, quote unquote, words have never been used. Coming to the last aspect of why didn't we, come out with how much was lost and what Chief said today, why couldn't he have said it 3 months ago or 2 months ago? See, in our democracy, as army or as armed forces, we cannot utter something in the public domain without having proof, because we are a democracy with checks and balances. If we say something and we cannot prove it, there are people who will hold us to it, especially opposition party, and they should. For which reason, armed forces always speaks, our armed forces always speaks with maybe 150% of data or imagery or satellite imagery or drone imagery or something. So, which is why I think Chief came out with the presser today and not yesterday or a couple of months before.
But even there, we are conservative in our estimates because the numbers vary.
Absolutely.
Today, the numbers were a little lesser, but overall, the tally is far higher. This ties in with the estimate that nearly $2 billion worth of military equipment has been destroyed, and Pakistan has suffered serious reversals because of that. But Ambassador Rajiv Dogra, if I may ask you, why Sir Creek and why this mobilization? Is it because they are going to now push jihadis and there's going to be a strong terror base? Are they going to try and capture that region to deny any mining rights in the sea with shale and natural gas? What's your estimate? Why is this happening? And why is Bharat upping the ante in terms of tone and tenor?
Well, I don't think we should concentrate only on Sir Creek because Air Force Chief, the Army Chief spoke from different locations. So let's not be only fixated on this. But just to go back into the history, since you mentioned it, the 1965, there was a prelude to it, and that is called the Battle of Bates, where Pakistan had gained some territory. So maybe it is a record of that gain, which ultimately went into arbitration. That's a different story. Sir Creek is one of the unsettled borders between India and Pakistan. There have been negotiations. We were almost near an agreement. One of the reasons is that the median line there keeps shifting according to the tides. So that is a technical difficulty, but we could have reached an agreement. Why Mr. Rajnath Singh mentioned Karachi? After all, you don't need to go to Sir Creek to reach Karachi. His hint was about the naval element. I think we should remember that. Secondly, the timing. I don't think we should really go back into the May incident and say that narrative was lost by India. Okay, maybe it was lost by India, but that is history. The new narrative is what happened this morning. Air Force Chief and Army, they gave very distinct, different messages, not just to Pakistan, but to the world also. Air Force Chief reminded that we did hit, and these are the numbers which are conservative, but we are letting it out once again, because it had been let out earlier also. Army Chief said that we are prepared. And this time, Operation Sindoor 2 will not be limited either in time, date, or force. So, the larger picture is that it's not just Sir Creek. It is the combined message from the very top. First, Mr. Rajnath Singh on Dussehra Day. Second, the Army Chief and Air Chief, who are both conservative officers. They are coming out with very, very strong language. We are not Pakistanis. We don't give flippant statements. And I would endorse what Ms. Tarakanta said, that read the tea leaves. And the tea leaves are the message that she was reading out, the one that she had gathered, that there are some terror plans in action before Diwali. That may or may not be so. There may be some other thing that Pakistan is cooking up. But it was good to alert the Indian public, it was good to convey a message to the world, and it was good to tell Pakistan where to get off.
Taraji, before I bring in Brahmaji, Sir Creek, if we don't have a build-up, if we don't have this one, Pakistanis are building up, we've called them out. What are we doing next? What's the intent behind this tone that's been adapted?
No, Pakistan has been building up in Sir Creek for some time. I mean, it's been happening with they've got about 4 different services operating there. So it's a sort of layered defense. And as I think the gentleman just said, the Chinese help, etc. But to this, you should add one more thing, which recently happened. I don't know if it comes. We've extended our claim line beyond the EEZ by about 10,000 square miles, and this is a claim which we put in front of the tribunal. So earlier we had said that sort of included the Sir Creek disputed area. It was shot down. Now your oil claims, any drilling that you want, goes straight into the Arabian Sea. That is still it has still to be decided. That is one. Number two is the oil claims which recently was made. The US said, huge oil deposits. Trump would have exaggerated by about a factor of 100. But nonetheless, that area, that Bombay High and beyond is part of the Indus River, that basin. And there is oil there. That was proved earlier. It was just a question of how much money you're willing to pour into it. So there are these factors which could make Sir Creek a boiling point, and these guys are already active there. And they started increasing significantly last year. So what has happened in recent days, I am not privy to. But if he says this, then, and also in addition, there is the whole Chinese plan of a Karachi coastal development highway, zone, which is bringing it into the Arabian Sea, and is just 4 hours from your last point in Sir Creek. So all this activity is taking place, run by the Chinese, which the Pakistan is asking them, why are you going, off into getting, getting this area off the base when we've got enough land here. So there's some activity which has started at least a year and a half back. So this is probably,
here is what Manoj Kumar Gupta has got us in terms of details, in terms of the battalion deployment, Professor Brahmachalani, and to our viewers and to our other guests. They have increased 4 more Creek battalions of Sindh Regiment, total 6 military battalions that are protecting and operational in the Sir Creek areas and in the surroundings. 31st Creek Battalion deployed at the Sujawal District Headquarters in 1999. 32nd Creek Battalion that was deployed at Gharo, Thatta District Headquarters in 2019. 2021, the 33rd Creek Battalion deployed at Badin District Headquarters in 2021. In 2025, they have the 34th Creek Battalion deployed at the Jati area, 35th Creek Battalion deployed in Keti Bandar again in 2025, and then there is a backup Creek Battalion reserved force for the Sir Creek offensive. All of them have infantry and amphibious strength and power. All of them have full backup support of the Pak Navy and Sindh Pak Rangers, and Pakistan has also now boosted air defense systems and air power. So all of this between 2017 to 2025, you see the sudden build-up that's happened over the last 8 years. Brahmaji.
You look at the bigger picture. Operation Sindoor, at least according to the Indian narrative, taught Pakistan a lesson. Yet, over the past 5 months since Operation Sindoor ceased, we have seen Pakistan becoming increasingly emboldened. Now, the latest tensions only underscore the fact that Pakistan appears to be itching for a new showdown with India. Now, this is very troubling because, after all, at least from what we were told by the government, that Operation Sindoor had actually inflicted such heavy blows on Pakistan that we expected Pakistan to be on better behavior henceforth. But we are seeing something very, very different. And Sir Creek, let's not forget, has a history to it. First, it was a staging ground for the Mumbai terror attacks. The 10 Pakistani gunmen. How did they enter Mumbai? They hijacked an Indian fishing boat in the Sir Creek area, and that's how they managed to enter Mumbai undetected. And with Pakistan now reinforcing its presence in the area, Sir Creek again looms as a security risk. Of course, there's a history to this dispute. In fact, in 1999, India shot down a Pakistani naval surveillance plane that was flying on the Indian side of the Sir Creek area. But this is not just a mere boundary dispute. Sir Creek may be a very narrow channel, But this dispute, how you define the boundary, affects sovereignty over hundreds of square miles of prime fishing ground and potential oil and gas exploration ground. Because the definition will extend to the Arabian Sea, your territorial waters, and therefore what Pakistan is doing is clearly part of a pattern. It has a particular mission, and therefore we are seeing this major military build-up. Otherwise, why would the Indian Defence Minister issue this kind of warning? Obviously, the build-up is such that we are troubled. But I think to come back to the core issue, which is that Operation Sindoor was a military success, but was it a diplomatic and political success? Because now we have seen the developments of the last 5 months. India, an emerging global power, now finds itself equated with Pakistan, a smaller, weaker country, a quasi-failed rogue state that is a long-standing state sponsor of terrorism. And I think if we take an objective view of what happened during Operation Sindoor, we have to admit that Pakistan's standing in the Islamic world has gone up because the perception, right or wrong, it's a different issue. The perception in the Muslim world is that Pakistan held its own against a more powerful enemy. We executed this operation only for 3 days and abruptly ended it. And we ended it just when that very morning, May 10th, the Indian Air Force devastated Pakistani air bases and air defenses. We didn't capitalize on that military advantage. We abruptly ended it, right?
At that time, the objective was not to try and geographically alter the nature of Pakistan. This time, the objective has already been reset, saying that we will geographically alter the nature of Pakistan. So I think the objective's been redrawn. At that time, it was destroying the terror infrastructure. And the other thing, sir,
Anand, if I could add a line to that, is that anybody in New Delhi knew that if you take out terror camps, as many as you wish, you kill even 100 plus terrorists, as the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh told Lok Sabha during the debate.
Right.
Everybody knows that these terrorists are expendable to the PoK military generals.
Correct.
That you destroy these camps, they will rebuild them as is happening in Murat.
Sir, you're a wise man. I don't want to fight you.
No, I'm
argue with you.
Objectives.
I'm just saying, sir, the objective was that we will hit deep inside Pakistan territory. We'll hit structures which they thought we will never touch. We did. And we said, if you respond, we will damage you further. And we did. And then we said we'll stop because they smoked the peace pipe immediately and said sorry. And it happened in 90 hours. Did we manage this narrative well? Well, that's subject matter of argument, and I am on your side on that. But did we hyphenate or allow Pakistan to hyphenate with ourselves because of Operation Sindoor or because of playing cricket with them? That's another matter of debate. But the Islamic world saw who perished and who survived, who ran to Washington and who didn't, who opened up their airbase when the Americans were striking against Iran and who didn't. They were watching all of this. The Saudis and the UAEs, the Emiratis and all of them are also quite sharp about all of this. And you are also sharp, sir. But in this narrative, I would have to defer very, very humbly with you that yes, we failed to manage the narrative, but nations watched. The Chinese also watched how quickly we recalibrated. We were surprised by the involvement of the Chinese, which is our admission, but we learned quickly. I think within hours we recalibrated, and the Chinese were surprised that their JF-17s were down, their AWACS were down, their radar systems were down, and their PF-15s also turned a dud. So I think a lot of lessons were learned. Whose stocks went up and whose stocks went down, I think that data is also there. The Chinese are still...
The silver lining.
Sir, I'm just saying in terms of managing the narrative, we failed. But in terms of sorting them out in 90 hours, I think we should give credit where it is due. But I think net takeout is this time the objective is redefined. Now it is geography बदल देंगे. It is not about infrastructure damage करेंगे. अभी geography बदल देंगे. That's the narrative. Quickly, sir, on PoK, whatever is happening in PoK, just quick conversation, and then we'll turn attention to another important aspect from Bangladesh. But this is, since we're discussing Pakistan and the enemy on this side, on the western borders. Pak-occupied Kashmir, widespread protests continue under the banner of Jammu Kashmir Joint Awami Action Committee and allied groups pressing a 38-point charter of demands that include the abolition of reserved legislative seats, reduction of electricity tariffs, subsidies for essentials and the curbing of elite privileges. And what began as a shutter-down strike and chakka jam protest has escalated rapidly as thousands have taken to the streets in Muzaffarabad and other towns defying bans and roadblocks. The Pak government has responded with a severe security crackdown. Communications, internet access have been suspended in many areas. Roads have been sealed while additional police rangers and para forces have been deployed. Curfews have been imposed to prevent mobilization. In multiple confrontations, security forces have used tear gas, baton charges, and also, according to protester accounts, live ammunition. Reports suggest 12 or more civilians have been killed in confrontation with security forces, and more people are turning out on their funeral processions, and things are just getting all the more agitated on ground. Question remains, is this uprising different from the past? Is Pakistan losing control of PoK? Ambassador Rajiv Dogra, this is your domain. So tell us, every year we see these protests, every year we see there are uprisings, people are unhappy. But and this ये जो दहशत गर्दी है, इसके पीछे वर्दी है, booms, echoes, resonates from PoK all the way to Balochistan via Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. It's happening. But this time around, do you feel it's different?
Well, it's different in the sense that it is a continuation of what happened 2 years back. That was the first time when a major protest started in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. But I think we should also be a little cautious in our assessment of what is happening there. And the reason is the population is just about 4 million plus, of which nearly 50% are Punjabis who were settled by Pakistan in PoK just to change their demography. And that was a sharp contrast to what India did. We refused to let refugees from Pakistan come in and settle in Jammu and Kashmir, because we were moralistic at that time, and we are moralistic even now. So the story started from 1947, and then the denial of opportunities to the original residents started building up. Today the situation is that even food is in short supply in PoK, and it is smuggled by the Punjabi settlers. All the contracts go to Punjabi settlers because the Pakistani army and the officers are Punjabis. There are only 5,000 income tax payers in a population of 4 million. And those 5,000, I'm not exactly sure of the who they are, but my guess is they would be Punjabis. Look at the dress of the protesters. Compare them to what is happening in Indian Jammu and Kashmir. In fact, the entire Jammu and Kashmir is ours. But our part of Jammu and Kashmir is a prosperous site. It's a booming economy in Jammu and Kashmir. And these people have to pay high electricity rates. They do not have free education, which are part of these 38 demands charter. They also want the legislature not to be heavily weighted in favor of Punjabis who have reserved seats. So the demands are multiple. But again, as of the information today, the talks that Pakistani delegation came to engage in have been deadlocked. The PoK people have said, sorry, we can't go ahead. We can't go on empty promises. But as I said, the numbers in PoK of Kashmiris are not significant enough, nor are they organized enough to pose a challenge to the Pakistani army. Pakistani army has been cruel and brutal in its attacks on the protesters. Full facts have not come out. They just say 15 have been killed and 70 have been injured. Probably it's much more.
Right. Interestingly, UK has taken note of the PoK protests. Largely, it falls in the blind spot of the West. but now they're protesting outside the UK offices also. There are people from PoK who have gone on a hunger strike outside the UK embassy, and also in the UK, in London itself, they've also gone on a hunger strike, and UK parliamentarians are now taking note. Yes, Ambassador Saab, you're saying something.
You know, this is very significant because in 1947 itself, there was another move that Pakistan made. 70% of today's Pakistanis in England are Mirpuri Kashmiris.
Ji.
And Pakistan sent them there so that it becomes a constant reminder to England that, you know, they have a claim over PoK. Those Kashmiris, Mirpuri Kashmiris basically, are the ones who are protesting. And I'm glad they're protesting because their brothers, sisters and other relatives are being killed by the Pakistani army. So I hope that could become a pressure point. Though England at the moment is almost powerless. It's a third-rate power. So I don't know whether it can do much. But at least its media can wake up.
30,000 Hindus were burnt, massacred, raped, killed in Muzaffarabad to alter the entire demographic nature of Muzaffarabad itself. Same thing happened in Mirpur. A lot of this, the entire Hindu population was wiped out just before partition and soon after. So sometimes the actions of the past also have a certain level of karmic residue. We'll see how this pans out. We have limited time, so I'm going to request our guests to bear with me as we quickly shift attention to what's happened in Bangladesh.